Yes, the lounge show. I was asked famously to be the announcer for that show, and at the time I didn't see the vision. Like most people, I underestimated the program and its hosts. Foolishly, of course. Later, I came crawling back on my hands and knees, begging for the job, but force by that time. It had already been given to Latbat, so I had to graciously accept my defeat and learned a valuable lesson.
It's The Lounge Show with Rob Scott and Bob Doyle, two veteran broadcasters who love to hear themselves talk and are somehow able to tolerate each other. Let's see if you can tolerate them as well. Here's Rob and Bob.
Well, hello, viewers. I'm Bob Doyle, even though it doesn't say that on the screen for some reason this week. I don't know why this week, why last week, or the last time it did. This time it doesn't, but trust me, I'm Bob Doyle, and I'm in Las Vegas, despite appearances. Rob?
I'm not sure that they, if you didn't point it out, I don't know that they would notice. But okay, yes, the names aren't there. I'm Rob Scott. I'm in Atlanta. Let's see.
It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday.
And it's 9 o'clock on a Saturday.
So the regular crowd rushes in. Let's hear. It's time for the regular crowd roll call. We need a jingle for that. Regular crowd roll call.
I got it. Let me get Skippy on that. I don't know how well that'll do. And by the way, boys and girls, if you weren't here last week, neither was I or Bob.
That's right. That's right. I was doing a downtown thing. We went to So we went to see a friend of ours speak at this, it was a health and wellness type of expo sort of deal at this place called Area 15. And which is really like a big mall for people on mushrooms. And I mean, you walk in and it's just dark and psychedelic everywhere and all of that stuff. Really, we'll take you next time you come to go just see. They have VR experiences. That's something that we should do. I've never done a full room VR experience. That's what we do when you're here. Yeah, that sounds good.
Sign me up. In fact, speaking of that, a new feature on the lounge show starting. This lounge. How many lounge shows until we do the same bat time, same bat station lounge show? And do you want to venture a guess?
What?
Because I'm going to be visiting you in a given period of time.
Oh, right.
And we will lounge, same bat time, same bat station. We will do another tandem, a side-by-side lounge.
That's right.
And that will be 8 weeks.
Wow, ladies. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Mark your calendars. What's the exact date? Do you have that?
16, 17, 18, 19th of August. I want to say 19th. I want to say, so I will. 19th of August.
All right. So the 19th of August, Rob will be sitting in the chair right next to me, and we'll have Latbat up in here and everything.
Oh, yeah. In fact, I believe that was the studio.
Yes, it is. I was just about to say the origin of Latbat right there.
Right in that same area of the world. So
we had to read it live, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And she brought in all sorts of accoutrement, some seasoning at the end. She had balloons. I think she dumped it on the lounge show set. Some other stuff. She made it fun to be a lounge participant.
Unlike normal when we show up here, we just suffer through the whole goddamn. So I have to tell you, last week. Okay. So part of this deal was we saw our friends. It is outside. That's right.
82 and sunny. So it says on the computer screen, but I don't think it's sunny.
I think we're 97 and sunny, ladies and gentlemen.
But like they say, it's a dry heat out there where Bob lives.
Latbat has joined in. She has chimed in with her signature heart there, Tracy Star, ladies and gentlemen. Awesome. The not so secret identity of Latbat. So anyway, so we go, and so watching our friend was the first part.
Right at Area 15.
The other thing,
I was listening. Area 15. I remembered the.
That's right.
Place. All right.
So
we'll go there in 8 weeks.
The other reason we went there was to
piss you off. Your face is great. Please tell me this story now. It's a bit.
The other reason we went was to go see this guy, this musician, who's luckily, I guess, I can't pronounce his name. Starts with an M. It's one word. But one of Tracy's favorite songs, and here's how you can find out, called One Day. So now you guys can go do some research to see if you can figure out who it was.
One Day.
With a one name, one word name. And
Like,
she just really wanted to go and see this. And so this was a big deal because he didn't start till 10 o'clock to go to 11:30. And you know that's well past my bedtime, right? And so there's really lots of stuff I could tell you about that day. But here's the thing. So the guy, it finally starts. We get up there. We move up kind of close to the stage.
Mattis Yahoo.
All right. Well, I was going to keep it anonymous, but okay.
Well, it was chimed in. It's on the tote board.
I know. I see. It's her call. Because I'm going to tell the story. So, and this vast listening audience, this could wreck this guy. So, sure. So we're listening to it, and it's. I think they call it deaf reggae. Is the style? It's echoey and Bob Marley. To me, it was Bob Marley meets Yes meets Grateful Dead. Very trippy. Again, very clearly targeted at people who might have been a little altered. It was very like this. So I'm loving it. Like, I'd never heard this guy. I'm going, this is really cool. Now I have other things that I will tell you offline. Oh, people see if you paid for the backstage pass, the lounge backstage pass.
The third CD, if you can afford, but you don't get the third CD unless you have the backstage pass, the lounge backstage, meet and greet, VIP, backstage pass, all of the names that go in the hopper. Usually, I said all and usually, but usually get the backstage pass. The folks who go in the hopper, but of course
but the people who get the after the show, conversation. Now that's big money. That's huge. Like, that's very. Anyway, so I'm loving the show. It's very good. He hasn't played the song yet. Everybody's assuming it's the encore, right? People are yelling "One Day," and I'm thinking, okay, he'll get to it. So I can't remember. I'm going to say it was about an hour in or something to his hour and a half set.
He was going to do 9.
And he brings his son on stage to sing a song.
Okay.
So his son starts to sing the song, and he feels that the son's mic volume was a little too low. So he asks, whoa, rewind. Start this up. Let's get some volume on this guy. Well, they could not get the volume this guy wanted. And so the kid started again. And he is pitching like the biggest tantrum ever, cursing out the people, cursing out the soundstage, like totally just a complete meltdown. The opposite of the vibe he had created.
I was going to say, and he's all about peace and love and reggae, and everyone should get along and smoke a joint.
Something like that.
The gang was.
By the end, he throws down the microphone and storms off stage. The kid finishes the song.
Okay.
And all the musicians put their instruments down and walk off, and that is the end. Not another word is said by anybody. Not show staff, not him, nothing. The lights go off. The end.
The end.
So we don't know whether he got kicked out for trashing the union, right, or whatever, like making such a big display, or whether he walked out. But
there is a third option.
What's the option?
It's very slim, but it could be an Andy Kaufman type thing. It could be the whole. Okay, I'm just giving the guy.
Not for him.
Okay, but either way, I give credit to the young man who finished his song. After the tantrum, and he finished his song. Right?
Still, I know, but it's like, Dad. How do you even recover from that? It's like your dad has embarrassed you in such a huge way.
Well, that's like my cousin Kenny. I told you that story when he got married, and his wife left the reception. His brand new bride. They had only been married 6 hours, and his buddies tried to. This was a deal that they did in college. They would pants the groom. All these guys, that was their jam. When we did Alouetta, when me and my buddy, they would pants the groom. Well, Kenny's my cousin. He's a stout man, and there was no way they were gonna. But they did get his shirt off for, like, Bob, I'm serious, 15 seconds. And it was right back on. And she pitched such a hissy that she stormed off and left the full. Everybody's doing their thing. It's in fever pitch reception, dancing, singing, and she's gone. She gone. And I thought, and then he went around and personally thanked everyone for being there and had to carry the that's what you're saying is like, how do you recover from that? Dad just did this thing. He's on stage. What do you do? It was just, and my other cousin, Jimmy, leans over to me and he says 6-5 that they're not consummating the marriage tonight, which was that's Jimmy. You got to know my cousin Jimmy. He's really dry sense of humor. He hits me with that Bob Newhart type line. But yes, that's what that reminded me of, because now there's that son, his son, right? And he's on stage, and so, and that was it. Have you heard any mumblings on?
Nah, it's. I was saying to Tracy, if I hadn't been there, I wouldn't give a shit about it. I mean, it would just be another Vegas thing, whatever. But because I was there and I knew there was so much, because it was. So there is another twist. There's a little bit of a twist here. So we got there early, and before our friend Craig was speaking, that room was being used for a podcast interview. Now, that's all I knew. It was a podcast recording. So we get there, and we go to open the door to walk in. So you open the door, and now the room is filled. The stage is like right there. We're like sort of beside the stage, and now it's like, it's like you feel like everybody stops and looks at you, and there's no way in my mind that we're going to be able to do anything but disrupt a recording in progress. So I'm like, Tracy, we got to get out of here or whatever. Now, I should preface all of that, and I should have done that first, was that, when Tracy said that she wanted to go here, she said, "Now, so you should just know that I'm going to do everything I can to meet this guy." Okay. And I'm like, okay, so I was bracing myself for that. So that being the subtext. So
that's awesome, because you know how it is. I would like to. There are certain artists.
Of course,
yes,
of course. So we sneak out of the thing and we're walking around, and then after some people came out that we knew, Tracy was in the bathroom, and he told me that the podcast guest was the musician, and that would have been the perfect time for her to meet him, and I screwed it up.
Oh, you dropped the ball.
Because I said, let's go. I didn't know it was him, right? I said, let's go out. Because in my mind, we're disrupting things. Let's be professional and courteous, right? But if I had known that it was him, and apparently she did know it was him, and I don't know. But it was like, I felt so terrible. So that was why, we're going to be here. We're going to watch this guy. We're going to get right up front. We're going to do this whole thing. And if you figure out a way to meet him, and then he threw that fit.
All about the microphone volume.
And there were other elements that I can tell you again later that already had us kind of second guessing the guy a little bit during the performance. The music was great, but we're getting a vibe, okay? And so then how many
people in the room? How big of a room are we talking here?
This was outside. This was outside. Okay. So honestly, I didn't turn around to see. I don't really know.
500,
maybe? No. A couple hundred or so, maybe.
Sense of the crowd. I'm just trying to do a mind thing. Picture it. But it wasn't a system act or something. It was small and intimate, but a couple 300 people.
Yeah, sure, something like that.
Okay.
I mean, it was So anyway, obviously, then as she says there, now she doesn't have any desire to meet him because he showed himself. He's not the one that she had created based on that song.
Right. Well, that reminds me of a story. It's Chris and Ellen Gantner, and you know them from Barbara's Parties from millions of years ago. Chris was my grilling buddy. He and his wife Ellen. Anyway, she worked at the Botanical Gardens or one of those places downtown Atlanta, and they had acts, like Norah Jones or whatever, and she would tell me the stories about which artists were just jerks, just ugly. Blech. And I didn't want her to tell me those stories because, like Tracy just said, no desire anymore. All right, all you do is want pink M&Ms and you throw them across the room. Whatever. It's one of those kinds of things. I went, oh, that sucks. I like that artist, and now every time I hear one of his or her songs, but they don't like. They're an asshole at the Botanical Gardens.
Right.
So that's a bummer. You meet your teenage idol hero. Bobby Sherman isn't as cute as you thought he was going to be. I guess he was on the cover of Tiger Beat. And, know who I'm talking about? Did you do?
Yes, but I don't know why the segue exactly. But
I just went with that would be a 70s sitcom type storyline. They have an idol, but the dad is wise enough to know that that idol's a shiny penny, but it's not really, blah, blah. And then they meet their idol, and then they disappoint, and then they realize dad is the person you want to be because he's on.
Right, and then roll credits.
Right, and then roll credits.
Of course, you only realize that when Dad is dying, right?
Yeah, and then, see, Ed Asner plays the dad, doesn't he? Doesn't Ed Asner play the dad?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I got a picture. I want to show you a picture. And this to me is, I hope I can, this whole share thing, let's see, toggle screen sharing, and then select one to share. I guess, I don't know which one. Share. See, doggone it, Bob. I don't know what. Oh, here we go. Look at that. Share this. There we go. Now,
I saw that picture. Yeah.
Oh, you did. Yeah, that's right. Come on. I said to Samantha, the odds of you capturing that at that time, you get like a half a shot at that. And that was apparently when the scary witch in the sea witch in Little Mermaid did a thing, did a scary thing, and Samantha just happened to get that picture. Which isn't that a great shot? That's 5 years old, probably her second movie, maybe third in her whole life.
Oh,
and
wow.
you're just, and that made me think of two reasons. One, I just wanted to show it, but two, were you a big summer? I was thinking summer just rolled in on the 21st, right? 3 or 4 days ago, the longest day of the year. So this will be one of the 2 longest lounge shows of the year. Oh, it doesn't work that way.
Time has expanded throughout the day. So the half hours are really 35 minutes.
But anyway, but summer started, I guess, Wednesday, the 21st. And summer movies were a big thing for me when I was younger. I mean, I remember Jaws coming out in the summer and starting that whole thing. And then every summer, Raiders of the Lost Ark and Lethal Weapon and all those. Top Gun. Did you ever do the summer blockbustery? Well, Star Wars. You're a big Star Wars fan.
I think there was definitely a time when my friend Ricky and I were big into movies, and we would definitely do summer. I couldn't tell you anything at this point, but you reminded me of stuff. So we have to look, since we were talking about something, it reminded me. This is live. Lake Geneva looking gorgeous. Look how beautiful. Yeah. Not very active, but...
Well, of course, it's 8 o'clock. Folks most of them will get off the lake 6 to 7 to go have some dinner somewhere. And that was always a wonderful time around 7 to go back out. Because it looks like this would be, 8:20.
Right, if I was there, right, and we had access to a boat, we will have eaten, we've grilled something on the grill with 2 temperatures, and then said, let's head down and do a evening boat ride, right?
Right. And bar hop. Any number of different libation headquarters are easily accessible from a boat, and we certainly found most of them. And you would go and look. There's only Bill out there. I know Bill. There he is, going from your right to left at home. If you're watching,
that's
hi,
right.
Bill.
Or if you're watching in a rearview mirror, left to the right.
Well, yeah. Keep your eyes on the road, folks. Don't blame the lounge for.
That's right. We'll try to read you the comments.
Speaking of that, Mark Howard, man of action, Mark Howard got in a pretty grown-up car wreck.
Oh, really?
Wasn't his fault, and he walked away, and that's what. But apparently, some guy was, and then after the guy who caused it was 2 or 3 car, kind of a thing, multi-car accident. Yeah. And the instigator, Mark said that he ran back to his car and grabbed a bunch of crap and put it in his pockets and ran away on foot, just ran away. So we are guessing drugs, but we cannot be sure. And that
it was just said no. They told us on TV.
Yeah.
Just say no. He would have avoided that whole situation. But nope, he just had to say yes to drugs.
Yes, he was gooped up on GOP.
That's exactly right. He was gooped up on GOP.
He was gooped up on GOP. Don't do drugs, okay?
Don't do drugs.
There it is. So anyway, walked away, and I was thinking about that the other day, how much safer cars are. I know it's a weird thing to think about, but like compared to 30 or 40 years ago, they really were death machines, and we didn't even think about it. Like when I was a kid, speaking of summer vacation, my folks would throw us in the back of the station wagon in sleeping bags and put tinfoil all around those windows so the sun wouldn't come in, and we would continue to sleep, which is smart on the parents' part. You want your kids to sleep for as many road trip miles as possible. And I mean, if you would have gotten a wreck, we would have tumbled around like eggs in a carton. We would have everyone would have cracked.
Well, they didn't have wrecks back then.
No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
Because you could only go 12 miles an hour.
So that's so I meant to we used I saw that it was James Earl Jones on the intro today.
Yes.
James was talking about that he failed miserably auditioning for the lounge
Well,
show.
he refused to audition because he thought we were a joke.
Yeah, he was a little big for his britches. But anyway,
that's right.
Oh, Jimmy.
Who was the other one?
Oh, the one who does the Joey Rogan, little Joey Rogan.
Joey Rogan.
Little Joey Rogan, poor kid. He should have asked us years ago. We would have helped his entire career, little Joey Rogan. Bob and I, all he had to do was just, but no.
No, he had to go do news radio and Fear Factor and do stand-up comedy and get $14 million every time he opens his mouth.
$100 million a year. That's what his contract is, just with Spotify. Yeah, he should have listened to us. But anyway, Jimmy,
listen to us.
Jimmy Jones. He led off today, but sometimes Gaffigan does. And then made me to tell you there's a movie on Disney. It's typical, but it's called Peter and Wendy, and it's a retelling of the tale. And I think it's nice. They do a nice job.
I've seen the trailer. I saw Gaffigan as like Smee or something.
He plays Smee, and he does a great job. And he doesn't overdo it. He doesn't go over the top. It's subtle. I've seen him in serious roles too. I mean, he plays. It's kind of like Bill Murray, who came from comedy, but definitely can do some serious stuff. But anyway, I saw it's a cute Disney. It's Disney. It's typical Disney. But it's a nice Peter and Wendy, and they in the music they kind of bring in the old hooks from the old 50s cartoon movie.
Okay, you said hook, and I was like, dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
Wow, they paid homage to that movie's score. That's interesting.
Yeah, just the recurring the hook will be in the again. See now
see what we're doing there, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, I didn't see that I was doing it at all, but yes. And by the way, when you were younger, speaking of summer, because I wrote this down, did you have bug spray cars or vehicles that went through the neighborhood when you were a kid, spraying for mosquitoes or bugs, putting this massive like curtain of fog of poison in the air? Because we did at the lake, man, and we would chase it. We would actually try, I think we were getting many buzzes at 8 years old.
I honestly don't know. I don't know. That seems like something that my brain would try to construct as a memory.
Yeah.
That I don't know that we would. Like, it makes sense at the lake.
Right. But the other thing, but it doesn't make sense to spray poison through a neighborhood, but that's how we did it.
No, not right. Back in the day, though.
The bug fogger, we'd run after them. Like little kids, doing an 8-year-old version of flipping the guy off, right? I mean, you're not flipping him off, but and you chase, you run through the clouds. And I'm sure our parents didn't even give it a second thought that you shouldn't be running through those clouds.
Poison, yes.
Yeah, those poisonous vapors that are killing bugs. That's why it's out there. I don't know that it would necessarily be all that healthy for humans, but yeah, that was one of the things I wrote down. Fireworks. The whole summer thing. Speaking of, I'm grilling with Samantha tomorrow and Riley. I'm going over to their pool. I've never been to their pool, so I've got some knockwurst I got from the Eastern European butcher.
Yes,
which I'm very jazzed about because those are fun. And I froze some smoked Polish sausage. They have a smoker, like a smokehouse there, not a smoker, a smokehouse, and they have great tube meat at this Eastern European butcher. And so tomorrow I'll be grilling with my daughter and her husband and their daughter.
Meat sauce.
Pretty cool.
Now in a convenient tube form.
Yeah, remember meat sauce? I think I even found it.
Yeah, in a tube.
Mm-hmm.
It was awesome. All right, so hey, look, this has been sitting here since Easter. This has been sitting here since Easter. I think we just need to do this little mini unboxing. It came in, I think it was Easter, but I think, the Easter Bunny or something brought this.
Is that candy?
You can't see. No, it's not. It's a Mr. Potato Head tot.
Oh, it looks like poop. It looks like the emoji.
It does. I can't get close enough to the thing, but it's
I couldn't.
Meats, sweet tots, mini patates, mini potatoes. Anyway, so I just want to see. I haven't opened it yet, so I just want to see what we've got.
Toy?
It's a toy. It's a mini. You're familiar with Mr. Potato Head.
I am. I've seen Toy Story.
So it's a Mr. Potato Head tot instead of a potato. So let's just see what that looks like.
It was Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head's offspring.
It's really just a little tiny Mr. Potato. So we have the typical potato
Toys inside
shell. We have,
part.
I guess, the stand for it.
For the
we
base.
have the hands.
Okay. That's kind of heavy. We have time. Well, I really should have music for you. If we're gonna.
No, it's okay because it cancels that. And then the face. And then I don't even know what this is. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Focus! Focus! It's not focusing. I don't like it when technology doesn't do what I demand.
You know what? You reminded me like a silent movie actor. You had to do it all with expressions, facial expressions, because we decided not to talk. We just let the Limehouse Blues song. That's the name of that song, by the way. Limehouse Blues.
Bum, 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 bum. Oh, yeah. What was I going to say? Well, now I'll put the arm in here. And then, no.
Right. No, it was just, you did it with, you were very, very expressive, Bob. You were like Charlie Chaplin or Buster Keaton.
Well, thanks, Rob, because I rehearsed in my mind, of course, because as you could clearly tell, it was freshly opened. And in fact, I destroyed the box while trying to open it.
Now, speaking of toys that have to get assembled, I think I told you this week. Bob and I normally don't chat before the lounge, but this week we did. And my son for Father's Day sent me a bonsai tree kit that you make with Lego.
Yes. So,
and I haven't even opened the box. It sits on my kitchen table.
How many pieces? I have questions.
I haven't, but I would have to say there's going to be several hundred.
So how big do you think this thing's going to be?
It'll sit at the base. It'll probably be maybe 8 by 4 inches and maybe 3 inches. The base, when I say that, like the planter that it grows in. They've got the planter and the soil and the tree. It's a Mr. Miyagi thing. And then for another $29, there's a light kit that I'm going to order once I build the thing. And then that's going to sit on the back of the tank, and the guest Biffy will be the bonsai tree with the twinkly little soft lights. Because Steven has an orchid, and it looks from a distance, it looks like an orchid. And then you get up to it and you go, ha, it's Lego. And so the bonsai tree, I'm hoping, will have the same realistic, from a distance look about it.
Okay, and where are you putting it?
In the guest bathroom, on the back of the tank.
And you still got the light cycling in there? Or do you have that in your bedroom? You don't have...
That's in the master.
That's right, I forgot. You don't have 2 of them. We might have to bring you another one.
That'd be fine. That'd be 8 weeks. 8 weeks, we're going to go to Area 15.
Oh, that's right. 15. You come here.
Yeah.
So Area 15 has... So put a little money aside for the novelty stores. They've got joy buzzers and the whole thing.
No.
Yes.
They hit you after Space Mountain. You got to go through the gift shop.
No, I didn't go through anything, actually.
You didn't buy any chocolate?
I didn't do... They have a lot of like experiences that you can pay for, and we didn't pay for any of them, but you can. Then they also have just normal
drama
stores.
Right in front of you. That was as real as it gets. You got to watch real live drama when he stormed off. There's no price tag for that.
It was surreal, and it really was this ironically beautiful wrap up to the whole evening. It really was. I mean, it was that whole evening was it had quite an arc. And and we lived happily ever after, and we had a good time, and it was just, but that whole experience was just like, wow, did that happen? And the silence in the crowd was crazy. I mean, it was just like, we're all just sort of like, what do we do right now? Is anyone going to say anything? We gave it probably 10 minutes or so, maybe a little bit more, to see if anybody would come up and make an announcement. Well, but nothing.
But you didn't see that coming.
Scan a barcode, tell your friend.
Hey, don't think the bar closed.
But right before he played, these 2 gals came up and did this whole thing about, basically peace, love, joy, and all that stuff. Yeah. And then
and then he He threw a hissy, threw the mic on the floor, and stormed off.
And with those words, those were the words they chose. I kid you not. Those were the words. So when those words came out, they decided that's when they were going to end the show. They could have done, I don't know, countless other things, but they chose that sequence of words to end it. And this is how we're left with the show. I don't get it. I don't think I can watch anymore.
You've been watching The Lounge Show with Rob Scott and Bob Doyle. Join us every Saturday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and tell your friends and family to do the same. After all, we'd do it for you if you had a show. Probably.
Are you